Applied behavior analytic treatment is typically prescribed in number of hours per week, with the most effective outcomes occurring when the client receives 40 hours per week of ABA therapy. Although this number may seem large, research findings indicate that a program at this intensity produces the best treatment outcomes for children with autism and other disabilities. In his 2008 publication, Malcolm Gladwell coined the term the 10,000 hour rule, which claims that 10,000 hours of deliberate practice is required in order to become an expert at a skill. So what does that mean? More hours equals greater success. But how do you define an hour? Most people would say 60 minutes. But the magic is not in the hour itself, but what happens during the hour. Not all hours are created equal. It is not simply the passage of time, but rather what happens during that time that matters. A better way to define an hour is the number of learning opportunities or trials within a 60-minute period. Why? Because more learning opportunities or trials equals more learning and faster acquisition of skills. More trials equals greater success. Consider the following example. Sarah and Lucy go to the gym and work out for 1 hour. Both of their workouts consist of a warm-up, weight training, and stretching. Sarah's workout looks like this, while Lucy's workout looks like this. So what does this mean? Sarah will complete 480 reps or trials during her hour at the gym, while Lucy will only complete 100. Another way to look at an hour is to consider the intertrial interval, or time between trials. When there is a shorter ITI, there can be more trials in a given amount of time. For the previous example, the ITI between Sarah's reps was shorter than that of Lucy's, and therefore, Sarah was able to complete more reps during the hour. The success of an ABA program is not simply determined by the number of therapy hours, but more so by the number of trials that occurred during a therapy hour. Let's talk a little more about trials. A trial is not merely the opportunity for a response to occur and the response itself. It also encompasses a consequence following the response. So another way to look at an hour is to consider the feedback that is received after a response occurs. According to Aubrey Daniels, a behavioral psychologist and leading researcher in performance management, no habits or skills can be developed without many repetitions. In addition, and most critically, the behavior that you want to occur again must also be positively reinforced. Repetition alone, outside of a deliberate plan by which consequences are applied, is not sufficient. He goes on to say, "It is not the repetitions alone that make the difference. What is important is the feedback and the reinforcement for improvement associated with the repetitions that make the difference." Therefore, undesired behavior must be followed with corrective feedback, and desired behavior must be followed with reinforcement for learning to occur. In summary, previous studies have demonstrated that 40 hours of ABA produces the best treatment outcomes. The quality of hour depends on the number of trials presented during the hour. More hours, more trials means more opportunities for learning. Similar to the exercise example, let's look at an ABA hour. During Julie's therapy session, 1 trial is presented every 2 minutes, which equates to 30 trials per hour. During Danielle's therapy session, 3 trials are presented every 2 minutes. This equates to 90 trials per hour. If both of these clients are receiving 40 hours per week, that's 1,200 trials for Julie and 3,600 trials for Danielle. Even though both clients receive the same number of therapy hours, Danielle's therapy outcomes are likely to be better than Julie's. It should be noted that although it's important to maximize learning, the prescribed number of trials per hour will differ based on the individual and other environmental variables. It is also important to note that the maximum number of trials per hour will vary depending on the individual's threshold. So what are the implications for your child's ABA program? First, the BCBA will provide a recommendation of the number of trials per hour based on the initial assessment. Next, the technician that is working with your child should be qualified in that they have been properly and sufficiently trained to present program trials in a systematic manner, provide reinforcement and corrective feedback, and to record accurate data. The technician must also receive ongoing feedback to ensure that the prescribed number of trials per hour and schedule of reinforcement are being presented consistently. Also, make sure to keep your child's schedule open to maximize learning time, and utilize the skills you have acquired during parent training to continue to present learning opportunities outside of session. For more information, call us at 310-792-2877 or 310-792-CUSP, or visit us on the web at www.cuspautism.com.